Welcome to the Alpha Girl Confidence Podcast, where we are empowering youth female athletes to play and live confidently. My name is Shay, and each week I will bring you new episodes to teach you the strategies and tools that you need in order to live a confident, empowered life both on and off the playing field. Hey, welcome back to the show. Hope you had an awesome Thanksgiving and hope you are ready to kick off this week strong, kick off this month strong, and end the year with a bang. So in today's episode, I want to talk to you about what it takes to be successful. But before we get into that, I want you to think, what does success mean to you? Because when we talk about what it takes to be successful, that word success, it means something different to every single person out there. So that's something that I really would encourage you to go through after this episode, definitely before you start the new year, is what does success mean to me? Does it mean that you're successful in your career? Does it mean that you have lots of money? Does it mean that you're happy? Does it mean that you love what you do? What does success mean to you? Because success to me is totally different than what it is for you. So in today's episode, we're going to get deep into the 4 C's to success, right? And so if you ask someone else, they may come up with different things that they need to be, they think you need to be successful. But today I came up with 4 things that you need to be successful no matter what you're doing. No matter what career you're in, no matter what sport you're in, what you're trying to achieve in school. So these are my 4 C's for success. So the first C is confidence, right? Surprise, surprise, coming from me. But like in my book, I talk about that confidence is a girl's biggest superpower. And in my opinion, it's honestly everybody's biggest superpower, right? Like if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have confidence in yourself, then you're not going to be able to achieve what you want to achieve or become who you want to become, right? Like if you watch sports on TV or listen to sports, I want you to pay attention to how many times they mention confidence in a player. Like no matter what sport it is, no matter what gender it is, they bring up the word confidence so often. And I don't think I ever realized it until I started actually becoming a confidence coach, as I realized like, man, they bring up the word confidence a lot with players, right? So I want you to notice that. And that's obviously just in the sports realm, but right, even outside of the sports realm and your schools and your academics and your career one day, you have to have confidence if you want to be successful, whatever your version of success looks like, right? So number 1 is confidence. Number 2 is consistency. I like to really, really pride myself on my consistency. And I think that it's one of the few things that separates those people that are great and those people that are just good or those people that are just average, right? So when you're consistent, it doesn't always have to be perfect, right? Consistency doesn't equal perfection because perfection doesn't exist. Consistency means showing up every day and putting in the work. It also means doing the things that you say you're going to do, right? Like for this podcast, right? We had episode 100 last week. Today's episode 101. But I have not missed a week since I started back in January of 2018. Haven't missed a week, right? So that's why I said I pride myself on consistency. So whatever it is that you're doing, if you're trying to become a better soccer player, a better basketball player, what are you doing on a consistent basis to get better? Because if you train consistently, that's better than going crazy one week and then you're lazy the next week, right? If you can just stay consistent, that will separate you from other people because most people are not willing to be consistent. They're not willing to put in the work over a long period of time, right? They're willing to put in the work for short bursts of time, and then maybe they'll get tired. But being consistent is what is really going to separate you from everybody else. Okay, so number 1 is confidence. Number 2 is consistency. And number 3, I love this one, is curiosity. Right. So this one, you may be thinking, well, why is curiosity in this list? Right. But for me, curiosity, it's all about learning and it's all about growth. Right. If you aren't continually curious, if you aren't continually learning and growing, then you're not going to get better. And I am obsessed. Like I don't mean that lightly. Like I am obsessed with learning. And so that's why it's part of my 4 C's. right? So whatever it is you're trying to do, you can always learn something new to make yourself more efficient, to make yourself better physically, mentally, whatever it is. So with this one, I want you to always be seeking out new information, and not just seeking out the information, but actually doing something with that information, right? Knowledge is power, but knowledge is not power without action. So yes, be curious, learn new things and grow. But in order to grow, you have to take the things you learn and actually do something with it, right? So number 3 is curiosity. And number 4 is you have to be coachable. Yeah, you have to be coachable. You have to be willing to take feedback, and not only willing to take feedback, but you should be like seeking out feedback. And this kind of goes along with curiosity, but when you're seeking out feedback, you're seeking out new ways that you can improve, that you can get better, right? And along with being coachable and being able to take feedback and use that is also having coaches, right? Nobody makes it on their own. Michael Jordan didn't make it on his own. Alex Morgan didn't make it on her own, right? These people, you can look at any industry, sports or not, but people that are successful, they had mentors, they had coaches, they had community, they had family, they had people to support them and help them along the way. So with number 4, coachable, it also is, it's yes, you need to be able to take feedback, receive feedback, seek out feedback, but also you need coaches, right? You need a mentor, you need someone to show you the way, right? And with mentorship, I always say that mentorship is kind of like a shortcut, right? If you can find a mentor that's been where you want to go, right? It's like they can show you the things that they did that helped and the things that you should avoid to save you a lot of pain, a lot of frustration, a lot of energy. So having a mentor, having a coach almost is like a shortcut to where you want to go, right? And shortcuts aren't always a bad thing, right? So those are my 4 C's. Again, number 1 is confidence. Number 2 is consistency. Number 3 is curiosity. And number 4 is coachable. You have to be coachable. You have to have coaches. So again, now that we're kind of wrapping up this episode, at the end of this episode, I want you, number 1, I hope you took notes on these 4 things. I want you to apply these to everything that you do. And then I also want you to think about, what does success look like to me? Get out a piece of paper, put it in your phone and write, what does it mean? What does it mean in 5 and 10 years? Like, what will I be doing for me to consider myself successful? And get really, really clear on that. The more clear you are on what success means to you, the more likely you are to achieve it, right? If you don't know what that looks like, you're never going to achieve it, right? It's going to be like taking a shot in the dark. Turn on the lights, figure out what success means to you, and go after it. All right. I hope this episode helped you. Thanks so much for listening. And if it did help, it would mean the world to me if you take a couple minutes, leave me a review on iTunes so that we can reach more girls, get this show out there even more. Episode 102 coming next week. So let's keep that consistency going. And I will see you next week. Thanks for listening.